Over my 15 years of playing COD Zombies, I have learned a lot of useful tips in every single map. Whether it be an Easter egg shortcut, a boss fight shortcut, really good side quests, spawn manipulation, or just really cool tricks for the map in general. In this video, you will learn some sort of tip for every single map in COD Zombies history. From War to War to Black Ops 7 with every map in between. In this video, you will learn things about your favorite maps that you didn't know. Also, let me say this real quick. To my loyal viewers who have seen my useful information series, there will be some repeats from that series in this video because this is a different series. With that said though, most of what I'm covering in this video I haven't covered before. So if you fall in that category, don't worry because you still will learn things in the next 30 minutes. But if you enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like and also subscribe. At the time of me recording this, we are just over 1,000 subscribers away from the big 50,000 subscribers, and I got something pretty big planned for when we hit it. So if you're not subscribed, click subscribe to help us get there. And also, one final thing, this is a shameless plug, but if you buy G Fuel products, the next time you make an order, be sure to use the code Joltz115 to get 30% off your entire order and also help me as well. I'd appreciate it. But with all that out of the way, as usual, let's start at the very beginning of Zombies with War to War, Nacht und Toten. Now obviously, as everybody knows, Nacht is the single most bare bones map of all time, and with that, I don't have much to work with. So I guess I'll show you something that's half a trick and half a glitch. On War to War Nacht, if you go up to the grenade wall by and crouch and walk into it, then you should be in a mini glitch spot. If you try to stand here and it says you can't, then you're in the spot. This makes it so the first time a zombie coming to you is shot, he will temporarily stand still and maybe even try to hit you from far away as well. It's not much, but as I already said, I don't have much to work with Nacht, so we're gonna go with this, Verrückt. Now again, this is another really bare bones map, but I do have a cool trick you can use to get Mule Kick in War to War. To do this, you first have to buy the bouncing betties and place one of them down so you only have one in your inventory. Now go up to a perk machine that you don't have the perk for yet, and you want to place down your second bouncing betty in front of it, and when you place down the bouncing betty, you want to buy the perk that's in front of you. If you did it right, then you shouldn't pull back out a weapon. This means that you hit it. So now, all you have to do is go up to the wall weapon of your choosing, or spin the mystery box and grab the gun, and you'll now have 3 weapons. But it doesn't stop here because you can also do this with a second perk for a 4th gun, then a 5th, and get up to 6 different weapon slots on War to War Verrückt on solo. Shinonuma. This is a really crazy oversight. Normally, if you go in the flogger when it's active, then it will one-shot down you. But if you buy Juggernog and walk in the flogger, then for some reason, Jug will make it so the flogger will do 0 damage to you, allowing you to stand inside the flogger the entire time. Durries. My tip for this map works best on BO1 Durries, but it still does work in War to War. It's just a little less consistent. If you turn the power on via the teleporter A side and then run back through the map to spawn and cross the power bridge, then in this area is a really easy one window strat. If you stand in this room and keep the door to teleporter B closed, and this door to the Thompson closed, then every single zombie in the map will spawn from this window in this room. This can be a little tricky to do for a long time in the game, but as far as early game goes, this is a really easy strat you can do to get set up in the map. Kino. If you stand in this corner by the electric trap going from the stage to spawn, then when a dog round starts, every single dog in the round will spawn on the stage and run towards you. With how tricky the BO1 dogs can be at times, this is definitely worth doing in the early game. 5. If you kill a horde of zombies and then immediately call an elevator, then no more zombies will spawn in the map until the elevator is finished moving. This can be really helpful in co-op because let's say your teammate goes down in the war room. You can get a horde of zombies up and kill them all, then call the elevator to make sure no more zombies spawn, allowing you to very easily res your friend. And sticking with this trick, Ascension. This also works with the lunar landers. So if your friend goes down near one, you can get the horde of zombies up and kill them and then immediately call the lunar lander, and no more zombies will spawn for like 10 to 15 seconds, allowing you to very easily get the res. Call of the Dead. There are 2 really easy ways to kill George. The first is with the FAMAS. The Pack-a-Punch FAMAS will do 150 damage per headshot with a 5 times multiplier. Combine this with its really fast fire rate, then the FAMAS can take out George in less than 30 seconds on solo. And the other gun that's really good against George is the Dragunov. The Pack-a-Punch Dragunov does 1000 damage per shot with a 10 times multiplier, meaning that if you hit your headshots, then the Pack-a-Punch Dragunov will do 10,000 damage per shot, also meaning that the Pack-a-Punch Dragunov can take out George in about 25 shots. Shangri-La. If you're doing an Easter egg, then you can figure out the correct gongs for the gong step as soon as you spawn in. If you don't know, there are 8 gongs around the map, and when melee, they will either sound like this, meaning it's right, or it'll play this wonky sound, meaning that this isn't a gong for the gong step. So when you're first setting up in the map and you're opening all the doors, if you melee all 8 gongs and pay attention to the sound, then you will know the correct gongs for the gong step near the end of this Easter egg. And finishing off Black Ops 1, Moon. This one's for all my controller players out there. Keyboard and mouse players, feel free to skip to BO2 or something. Oh, leave a like too, please. But for all my controller players out there, as y'all know, normally to interact with something in Zombies, you have to hold down your X button or your square button for like a half a second to interact. And this can be really annoying to do when you have to interact with something a lot, like for example, the computer on Moon. But on this step, you don't have to hold interact, you can just spam it. And every time you tap your interact button, it will count as you interacting. So if you just spam interact on this computer, then you can finish all the dialogue on a step around 20 seconds earlier than normal. Transit. I love the turbine on Transit because there are so many things that it helps with. It is insane. And one thing that a lot of people don't know about it is that it can actually help you traverse this map a lot easier. If you run through the fog with the turbine, then you can run just as fast with it as you do with other lightweight guns like the MP5. But unlike weapons like the MP5, the turbine doesn't take up a weapon slot, so you can get set up with whatever guns you want and keep the turbine in your back pocket to navigate the fog. Nuketown Zombies. Again, I got nothing. So again, I'm gonna have to show you a glitch. I mean, it's Nuketown Zombies we're talking about. What's there to give tips for? If you come to the drop-off point behind the greenhouse and walk off where I do, then you can land in a really easy glitch spot. Once you're in the spot, all the zombies in the map will pile up below you, and you can kill them and pick up the drops they drop as well. But seriously, if you know any tips for Nuketown Zombies, leave them down below. Die Rise. This is a quick one, but you can stray from this couch to reach the box location. This is most easily done with lightweight guns like the MP5 or the ballistic knife. Mob of the Dead. There are two really useful shortcuts for grabbing the blue skulls for the free blundergat. The first is actually inside the retriever room. If you look up at the ceiling in here and throw your tomahawk exactly where I do, then when it comes back to you, it should have the blue skull. The skull you just grabbed here is the skull from the toilet by the spawn room. And for the second one, if you go outside the cafeteria and line up the right part of your crosshair with the afterlife symbol here and look straight up, then if you aim in the right spot, you can throw your tomahawk here to grab the skull on the roof. I feel like a lot of people don't know about these, so if you didn't, leave a comment down below. Buried. In co-op games, you can fly your friend with the paralyzer. All you have to do is shoot it at your friend and tell them to jump, and when they jump, you should be able to fly them. You can use this to fly them over the barrier by the box, and more importantly, you can use this to fly them over the gates in the maze. And just real quick, this only applies for PC players, but if you're having trouble using a paralyzer, whether it's on yourself or a teammate, make sure your FPS isn't too high. I say this because for some reason, the higher your FPS is, the harder it is to fly. But from my testing, the paralyzer should work fine if you're at 120 FPS or below. Origins. When you're doing the side Easter egg for the red dick spots for a free pokerholic, you can actually find these dick spots outside of Zombie Blood. There are a total of 16 locations this red dick spot can spawn, and if you buy the Semtexes, then you can throw them at every single location a red dick spot can spawn in, and eventually, you will reveal one outside of Zombie Blood. Now, for as great as this trick is, unfortunately, you still do need a Zombie Blood to dig it up, but this trick allows you to completely avoid the RNG of looking at all 16 locations in your 30 seconds of Zombie Blood. Instead, you can find it with Semtexes, and then grab a guarantee with your next Zombie Blood. And also, for the BO3 players out there, this does work on BO3 as well. Just use trip mines instead of Semtexes. That's it for Treyarch for now. Now let's move on to Exo Zombies, starting with Outbreak. In the last step of this Easter egg where you collect the 49 key cards, zombies have about a 50-50 chance to drop a key card if you just kill them like normal. But if you kill the zombie with a melee, then they are guaranteed to drop a key card. Infection. I don't know. I guess we'll go with a tip for the survivor rounds. Kind of. The survivors that you escort on this map have a health indicator. When the survivors are close to dying, they will get a red outline around them. So if you're playing Infection and you're escorting the survivors for some reason, then you can wait to spam your equipment until he looks like this. Carrier. You can teleport through the spawn rooms with the teleporter grenades. So if you're in the gun deck spawn room, for example, and you have to quickly get to the moon pool, instead of going all the way around the map, you can just use a teleporter grenade and teleport through this hole in the spawn room and go straight to the moon pool. And finishing off Exo Zombies, Descent. Everyone's least favorite step in this Easter egg is the EMZ step, and that's for good reason. I'm a huge fan of Descent's Easter egg, but I cannot stand this step. But with that being said, thankfully it's not all bad because there is something you can do to make this a little easier. If you get lucky and you have a Goliath suit in the map, then you can enter the Goliath suit at the very start of the round and sprint back to the EMZ panel, and you can just AFK for the next minute or so and have all the EMZ zombies in the round explode on you to make this step a lot simpler. That's it for Exo Zombies. Now let's jump back to Treyarch Zombies, starting with Shadows of Evil. There is some really easy spawn manipulation you can abuse to fill up the egg extremely fast. The way the spawn manipulation works is, first off, this only works for zombies that are respawning, so the zombies that spawn for the first time at the very beginning of a round will not work with this. So to play it safe, I would get a horde of zombies up somewhere in the map, away from the 4 statues, and then you want to run to whatever Cthulhu statue and look at a very specific spot to have all the zombies in the map respawn in one spot. Starting with the Rift, if you look at this spot, then all the zombies in the map should respawn right here. here. In the Canal District, if you look at this door outside the map, then all the zombies should respawn right here. In the Waterfront District, all the zombies will respawn from this window when you look at it, and for Footlight, if you look where I do, then all the zombies will respawn from this window. The Giant. 8 years after Derice came out, they still didn't patch the one window strat, and that's my tip for this map as well. So you can do this exact same strat I went over for Derice, but on the Giant, since you have Gobblegums, you can get a Pack-a-Punch Wonder-Waff and a Pack-a-Punch Red Gun with an alternate ammo type on it for a really easy game of the Giant. Der Eisendrache. One of my favorite tricks in Zombies history takes place on Der Eisendrache, and it has to do with this gate trap. This gate trap near Double Tap cannot kill any zombies. Well, I mean, it can, but not like that. When a zombie dies at his gate trap, instead of just dying and that's it, for some reason, it'll respawn around 4 or 5 zombies per zombie that dies at his gate trap. Meaning that if you get a shopping fair on round 1 and open your way up to power and get enough points to use the gate trap, then you could take the 6 zombies that spawn on round 1 and kill all 6 of them with the gate trap to spawn around 30 zombies. And there's no limit to how many times you can do this either. So if you keep doing this when you're low on zombies to keep respawning zombies, you can feed all 3 dragons and get an upgraded bow on round 1. But if you want to take this as far as possible, then you can keep doing this to get the Eisendrache's Easter egg done on round 2. The only reason it can't be done on round 1 is because you have to flip around for the second whip step for the keeper. But outside of that, you can use this trap for any soul box, for any part of this Easter egg to get this Easter egg done on as low of a round as you possibly can. Zetsubo no Shima. There's an Easter egg on Zetsubo to get infinite water in a golden bucket. So first off, to do this, you have to grow 5 different types of plants. You have to grow one plant with 3 rounds of purple water, another plant with 3 rounds of green water, a third plant with 3 rounds of blue water, a fourth plant with 1 round of all 3 types of water, so green, purple, and blue, and a 5th and final plant with no water. Just place the seed down and wait for it to grow. Once you've grown all 5 of these plants, get to Skull on Sapway and mesmerize this poster near the purple water. Now go under Lab B and mesmerize this branch. This will reveal a secret spot that you can place the seed. So go ahead and place it, and at this point, 3 more dirt mounds around this area will come out of the ground. You want to place the seed in all 3 of these new mounds and they will automatically grow into 3 purple plants. At this point, they will attract the zombies and start to eat them, and after around 50 or so zombies are eaten, the plants will go away and you'll hear this sound. And once you hear this, you can return back to the first plant you placed and interact with it to get the golden bucket. With the golden bucket, you can click both sticks on a controller or sprint and knife at the same time on keyboard or mouse to swap between all 3 colors of water. And better yet, this water in your bucket will never deplete. You now have infinite water for all 3 types of water. And one last thing with this, if you grab rainbow water from the tube and try and grow a plant with it, then you'll see that the rainbow water also doesn't go down. Garad Crovy. Getting the penetrating multi-kills for the dragon egg can be pretty annoying at times, but with this trick I'm going to show you, you will never struggle with it again. So after you get the fire zombie kills and your egg is 3/5 of the way full, you want to go to the Pack-a-Punch area and start the lockdown for the Dragon Strike. You want to do this lockdown as normal until this top side opens with the MG42. Once this side is open, all you have to do is get on the MG42 and look as far right as possible and kill the zombies. After you kill like 8 to 10 zombies with it, if you look at your dragon egg on the HUD, then you will see it go up to 4/5 of the way full, meaning that the penetrating multi-kills is done. After this, all you have to do is get melee kills and you're done. And another tip I have for this is for the melee kills, you don't actually have to get melee kills. If you use the Dragon Blast on a Dragon Shield to kill zombies, then this will also count towards this challenge and allow you to very easily finish this without putting yourself in harm's way. And finally, for BO3, Revelations. When you're doing this Easter egg on co-op, you can duplicate the eggs for the egg step. First off, one person in your game has to find an egg. Once someone does, have everyone in the game go to the apothecan's stomach. Whoever grabbed the egg just wants to walk up to where you place it and just sit there for a minute. Don't touch anything. Now, whoever doesn't have an egg wants to walk up to where you place them and hold in a rack to place down an egg. Once you place one, you can do this 2 other times to place 3 of the 4 eggs while only finding 1. I will say with this though, even though I've never had this happen in my game, I have heard from other people that if the person who grabbed the egg doesn't place theirs down, then the step will soft lock and you won't be able to proceed. Like I said, I've never had this happen to me, but just to play it safe, you can duplicate 3 of the 4 eggs, but whoever found the egg should place the 4th one down. But after this, you just want to fill them up like normal, and whoever placed the egg down wants to pick up the gate worm and go find the symbols for him. That's it for Black Ops 3. Now let's jump back to non-Treyarch Zombies, starting with Infinite Warfare, the launch map being Zombies in Spaceland. When you're doing this Easter egg without Director's Cut, you will have to get a bunch of tickets for stuff like Golden Teeth, Arcane Cores, and if you're getting certain wonder weapons, you have to get even more than that. And getting all these tickets can be fairly time consuming, but there is a trick you can do to get a lot of tickets really fast. There's a weird glitch with the skee ball machine here, to where if you back away from the machine before you throw your 3rd and final ball, then for some reason this machine will glitch out and give you triple the amount of tickets that you should should have earned. So for example, if you get 2 balls in a 50 slot to get 100 tickets, and back away from the machine before you throw your third one, then the skee ball machine will glitch out and give you 300 tickets for 1 game of skee ball. This is, without a doubt, the easiest way to grind tickets. Rave in the Redwoods. Now, as anybody who's played this map would know, Rave mode looks absolutely incredible, but if you try to look at these amazing graphics after round 10, then the game will spawn in a seemingly invincible slasher every time you go in Rave mode. And I say seemingly invincible because, for the most part, this slasher cannot be killed with any weapon in the game. But there is one weapon you can use to instantly kill him, and that is the smiley saw that you get after you beat the Easter egg for the first time. So after you first beat this Easter egg in subsequent games of Rave, you can grab the smiley by the power switch, and now any time that you want to go in Rave mode, you can use the smiley to kill the Rave slasher in one shot. Shaolin Shuffle. There's a really busted bug with the katana. Once it stops one-shotting in like the mid-30s, if you kill 2 or more zombies with it, then it'll glitch out for a few seconds to kill all the zombies around you. And what makes this even crazier is the higher round that you're on, the longer this glitch will last before it goes away. So even though it stops one-shotting in the 30s, dare I say that it gets better? Attack the radioactive thing. There's a step in this Easter egg that requires you to go all around the map in different color filters and find one of 4 numbers that doesn't have a slash to its equal sign, and this step is really annoying. That said though, you can do some simple math to completely avoid this step. So first to do this, you want to go to the pool and get your M number, and then go to Elvira's TV. You want to take the biggest number that's on her TV and divide that number by your M number. So in this example, I'll take the biggest number, which is 23, and divide it by my M number, which is 6, and I will get 3.83. Then you want to take this answer you got and round it to one of the numbers that's on the screen right now. On the screen now is every single possible number that your own number could be. The closest number on screen to your decimal is guaranteed to be your own number. And once you have your own number, you can multiply it by your M number for the chemistry step. I have a lot of other really helpful tips for this Easter egg to make it as simple as possible. So if you're trying to beat this for the first time, or you just want more tips like this, then be sure to check out my Easter egg guide after this video. And finishing off Infinite Warfare, Beast from Beyond. Beast from Beyond has the easiest way to grind keys that doesn't involve a God mode glitch. If you have the DCM8 Masochist variant, then put it on and also put on the Smart Shot sight. When you first spawn in the game, you want to leave the power off so Cryptus keeps spawning, and then you want to grab the DCM8 behind the jug hole. Once you have it, you want to go up by the Venom computers here and ADS at the stairs and fire away. This Masochist variant has infinite ammo, but every time that you shoot it, it'll do a little bit of damage to you. It won't kill you though, it'll just get you one shot. So you can rubber band both your triggers down and go do whatever else you want to while the game grinds keys for you. That's it for IW. Now let's jump on to WWII Zombies, the first map of which being the Final Reich. When you're defending the tower rods for the Easter egg, you can use a well-aimed front line far away from the tower to have all of the zombies stop attacking it and instead go for you. On top of this, you can use jack-in-the-boxes as well, either before or after your frontline use, to make both defenses completely free. Grosston House. Oh boy, here we go again. This is, and I'm not even kidding, the second most bare bones, smallest map of all time, only behind Nocturne and Toten. And with that, coming up with a tip for this map was actually pretty hard. But at least for this video, I do know a trick, or I guess it's technically a glitch, you can use to hold the last zombie in co-op. Bring the last zombie in the round upstairs and lure him away from this drop down. Once he's far away, you want to hurry and drop down it and line yourself up with this board exactly how I do, and if you were fast enough, then the last zombie should keep trying to attack you here, but he won't be able to. So now you can very easily hold the last zombie while your friend goes to use the bathroom or eat dinner or anything like that. I will say though, if I make a third video like this, just like Noct, I will need some help with a tip for this map, so if you know any Grosston House tips, let me know down below. The Darkest Shore. When you're doing the fire valve lockdown, you can turn the first one off right away. While the dialogue is going off, you want to wait by this fan trap until the fire valve lockdown starts. As soon as the fire starts, it'll start by this valve by the stairs and make its way up to the front of the room. As soon as you can get to the valve by the stairs, you want to go to that one and hold interact on the valve to turn it off as soon as possible. The fire under you will turn back on before you turn this off, but if you got back here as quickly as possible and you don't get hit by a zombie, then you should have enough time to turn this off and get off this valve before you lose a piece of armor. The Shadowed Throne. When you're doing this Easter egg and the blimp is in the map, then normally when you get to the last zombie, then the blimp in the sky will automatically turn him into a super sprinting sizzler, making it so you can't work on the Easter egg. To get around this though, you can either make the last zombie a crawler or shoot his arms off, and this will make it so he cannot turn into a sizzler unless he respawns. If he respawns though and you didn't notice him fast enough, then Better luck next round. The Tortured Path. At the very end of the second map for the Tortured Path, you have to play a memory game with this fish in a bucket. This step can be kind of tricky if you're like me and you have old man brain. A simple way to cheese this step though is with a Semtex. If you throw a Semtex in the bucket that the fish goes in, then the Semtex will explode in the bucket and make it look different from the rest of them. So once it stops moving and you gotta guess, all you have to do is just shoot the only bucket that looks different and you're guaranteed to beat it. And finally, for World War II, Frozen Dawn. You can get a free Perkaholic on the Frozen Dawn, and it's surprisingly really simple. First off, you have to get the flail, and after you do, there are 3 pads around the map that you have to fill up with 20 zombie kills each to charge them. The first is the same one that you filled at the very start of the game in spawn. Just get kills near it until it's red like this, and then you gotta do the same thing with the one by double tap and with a third one which is outside of the map. Make your way over to this blood pool by stamina, and aim the flail exactly where I do and teleport with it to go inside of a secret area. In here is the third and final one. Once you fill it up, you can teleport back to the map like so, and now Bioelectric Cherry will be a portal that you can use to enter a secret room. And just a heads up, it is very hard to see in here, but what you need to do in here is run around this area and look for 4 nails that look like this that could either be on these stone pillars or on a skeleton skull on the ground. A big tip I can give you for this is to tap ADS with the flail. This will temporarily light up this room, allowing you to see in here easier. Once you find all 4, now you want to find the one pillar in here that is taller than the rest of them and interact with it to place the nails down, and interact with it one more time to get your Perkaholic. That's it for World War II Zombies. Now let's jump back to Treyarch Zombies for the rest of the video, starting with 9. If you keep this door by the Mozu Walleye closed and run all the way around to the other side of the crypt, then you can sit inside this room right here by the KN57 Walleye for a really easy one window strat. All the zombies in the game will spawn from this window, and additionally, for the most part, no boss zombies will spawn either. With that said, you will hear them spawn, but they will only spawn outside of this room, and as long as you're not looking at them, then they will despawn and they won't come out of this window. The worst thing about this strat is that you will have the occasional catalyst spawn, but besides that, this is a really simple strat that you can do for high rounds or camo grinding. Voyage of Despair. In the last phase of Voyage's boss fight, you typically have to shoot the Eye of Odin 3 times and then stop a wipeout attack a total of 3 times in this phase to beat it. But if you run the goated perk known as in the modifier slot, then this perk will allow you to beat this phase after 2 wipeout attacks. When the eye can be damaged, you want to shoot it with the Kraken twice, and then spam it with the Hellion until it stops shooting a beam. Do this one more time, and then after you do it twice, the eye should do the wipeout attack, allowing you to skip its 3rd attack before the wipeout attack, and let your homunculus take you farther in this fight as well. Dead of the Night. There are only 6 possible combinations you can get for your Atlas puzzle. Before you start fooling with the puzzle, stand in front of the wheels and check the circles for the 3 rings to figure out which of the 6 combinations is in your game. Once you know the combination you have, all you gotta do is turn the left, middle, and right wheel that number of times to beat the step. And just in case you're not understanding, the left number is for the left wheel, the middle for the middle wheel, and the right for the right wheel. And also, if it says minus a certain number, then that means you turn the wheel to the left that number of times. And if it says plus a certain number, then you'll have to turn the wheel to the right that number of times. But with this cheat sheet, you should never struggle with this again. Ancient Evil. If you do the upgrade for the Hand of Charon, then before you go in its trial, if you shoot the Eagle's Cage down to spawn the Giganese, and then go into Charon trial, this will automatically kill this Giganese, and he won't respawn when you come back in the map. Now, unfortunately, this doesn't work on co-op unless it's a 2-player game and the other player is in the Ornos trial at the exact same time, but on solo at least, this is definitely worth doing every single game. Now let's jump on to Ether, starting with Blood of the Dead. When you're doing the Warden step on Blood of the Dead, if you pop the classic elixir Now You See Me, then while it's active on this step, every single zombie will ignore the ghost. If you're on solo, then I think the best time to pop it is when the ghost is around here, but on co-op, one person can pop it every 15 seconds to make the step completely free. Classified. If you survive 3 consecutive rounds at Groom Lake, then a piece of this debris here will go away. Well, you can keep doing this over and over again to keep removing debris here. Once a piece goes away, all you have to do is go back to the Pentagon and return back to Groom Lake and survive another 3 rounds to remove more. After you remove enough, you'll be able to train in a really open Groom Lake, allowing for a very chill experience. Alpha Omega. When you're escorting the elemental orb at the end of the Easter egg, you can enter the code 6662 into Rushmore to make all the zombies in the map walk at round 1 speed for the next 5 minutes. Additionally, if you need more health in this, then when you're escorting it through the bunker, you can activate the traps down here going in or out of a room to kill all the zombies behind you. If you do both of these, then you should never fail this again. And finishing off the OG Ether story storyline, tagged or totem. If you leave the second power switch off, the one where the OG Call of the Dead power was, then you can activate Golden Pack-a-Punch for the first time in your game whenever you want to. If you leave the switch off, the only downside to it is that you won't be able to buy soda or cola until you do. But besides that, you can still do everything else in the map. You can still access the entire map, which includes the facility. You can get the zipline handles, activate the totems, and even get up to the Wonder Sniper step of this Easter egg. But whenever you have enough points and you want to fully upgrade all of your guns, go back to this second power switch and activate it, and now Golden Pack-a-Punch will instantly be ready for you to go to. If you do this in your game, then you will never have to worry about the roaming Pack-a-Punch or Pack-a-Punching 5 times per gun ever again on this map. That's it for the OG Ether storyline. Now let's jump on to the Dark Ether storyline, starting with D Machine. At the very end of Cold War's life cycle, Treyarch added Pack-a-Punch variants of the dies, and one of them, when Pack-a-Punch, makes you go extremely fast. Before I go over this, just in case some of you don't have the skill trees done, this will not work unless you have Speed Cola Tier 5. Once you're in the game though, get the Electro Bulb variant and Pack-a-Punch it to the Me Surge, and now that it's Pack-a-Punched, if you sprint and fire with it at the same time, then you will zoom across the map insanely fast. Every time I go back and play D Machine, I make sure I do this because man is it fun. Firebase Z. You can use Ether Shroud to teleport both to and from the Colonel's office. Just like D Machine, for the skill tree, this will not work unless you have Ether Shroud Tier 3 or higher. But first, when you're going to the Colonel's office, if you look exactly where I do near the trial stands, then you can jump and pop Ether Shroud to be teleported right next to Jug. And to get out, it's the exact same thing in reverse. Stand near Jug and look at this wall, then pop your Ether Shroud to teleport next to the trial stand. Outbreak. On the round that you're going into the Legion boss fight, make sure you check if you have the Black Chest World event on your map. If you do, then make sure you do this before you go in the boss fight, because even though this can be annoying to do at times, the reward is definitely worth it. If at any point for the rest of the current round after you do this world event, if you fall under 50 HP, aka you're one hit away from downing, then the purple spirit from the chest will come out and kill all the zombies near you, allowing you to get a second chance. This tip goes for all of Outbreak, but it's especially helpful in the Legion boss fight. Maured or Totem. After you do the Mr. Peaks DJ Easter egg, you can actually redo it in the same game. After you do it for the first time, you gotta advance 15 full rounds, and then once you do, you can find Mr. Peaks on a window outside of the map near Jug. If you shoot Mr. Peaks, then he will teleport you back to the nightclub and allow you to do this again. And finally, for Cold War, Forsaken. Now admittedly, my tip for this is really simple, but I do think some people out there will get some help from this. A lot of people still think that you need a flamethrower to get the Chrysalax part from the Tormentor, but you don't need a flamethrower because any sort of fire damage will make this work. So instead of a flamethrower, you can use a Molotov, for example, or even a Ring of Fire to get the Chrysalax part and save your salvage. That's it for Cold War. Now let's jump on to Call of Duty Vanguard, starting with Dawn Fong. My tip for this map is as soon as you load in your game, you want to stop what you're doing and go to your main menu and uninstall this immediately.
Why are you still playing Vanguard?
Sorry, got carried away. But now let's move on to Black Ops 6, starting with Terminus. After you do the first 2 power switches, then you can avoid the third one for a bit and do some Easter eggs at Crab Island for a huge head start in the map. Once you're at Crab Island, if you throw an explosive at this cage, then it will spawn 4 sets of crabs around this island. If you go up to a set of crabs and melee them, then it will start a short game of whack-a-mole, and the rewards that you get depends on how good you do in these. But regardless, all of these rewards are insanely helpful. For starters, the first set of crabs you can find is right below the cage you exploded, and after you play this game of whack-a-mole, then you will get a free random perk. The second one is over here near where the free nuke power-up is, and once you beat this one, you will get a ton of points for it. The third set of crabs is to the left of the armor wall by here, and this one will give you a free blue rarity gun. And the fourth and final set of crabs is near the workbench, and this one will give you a bunch of free salvage. So by doing these 4 sets of whack-a-mole, then you can get a blue rarity gun, a perk, some points, and some salvage before you unlock Pack-a-Punch. I do this a lot when I play Terminus, and this is just one of the many reasons why I absolutely love this map. Sorry for the glaze. Liberty Falls. If you get PhD, then you can jump this ledge in a spawn room. All you have to do is line yourself up with this car right here and jump and slide off the hood of this car, and if you hit it right, then you will launch yourself up and forward, allowing you to jump this ledge and skip the bowling alley. Citadel Day More. You can tell the order for the pointer power trap step in this Easter egg much earlier than intended, and also skip the wall puzzle too. When you first start your game and you're grabbing the papers for the pointer power traps, instead of just blindly grabbing them, you want to pay attention to the symbols that are on the papers, and also what part of the room each symbol spawns in. If you pull up the map, the paper that spawns in the back left corner of this room will always be your first symbol. The symbol that spawns on the beds or on this table is your second symbol. The paper that spawns on the couch or right next to Stamina Up is your third one. And finally, the paper that spawns on the far right hall going down to Pack-a-Punch will always be your fourth symbol. Once you're up to the symbol step, instead of doing all that nonsense, instead you can just go fill up the 4-pointer power traps in the same order that the papers told you to, and once you fill up all 4, the orb will float out of it and go to the wall, successfully skipping the worst part of this quest, the tomb. If you need to kill special enemies, whether it's for calling cards or camo grinding, then the fastest strat for them takes place on the tomb. When you're doing either one of the 2 lockdowns for the ice staff, in the last 3 phases the game will either spawn a doppelgast, a shock mimic, or both. Once one of these enemies spawns in, you want to stand by the purple barrier for the exits to this lockdown, and then you want to kill the special enemy and then immediately run out of the room and then run back in the room a few seconds later. If your timing was right, then when you go back in the room, that same enemy that you just killed should respawn, and now you can just do it again. This strat is pretty easy to do, but just in case you mess this up, if you finish the ice staff lockdown, then just save and quit and go to the next round before trying this again. Shattered Veil. If you camp on the stairs that lead to the cellar room for the Mark II, then all the zombies in the map will spawn in front of you in this room. So this ends up being a really easy camping strat with a guaranteed way out of here if you need. I personally used this strat to get round 100 on this map when I did the round 100 boss fight. And finally, for BO6, Reckoning. In the corner of the director's office, if you shoot the pool balls on the wall that have the numbers 1, 1, and 5 on them, then a free self-revival spawn on the pool table. And to finish off this video, we got BO7, starting with Ashes of the Damned. If you get unlucky on the serum step, you will have limbs in your code, which means you have to go to round 16 and spawn into Zursa and kill him with Tessie to get the part. And obviously, this really sucks, but thankfully, if you get limbs in your code, there is another way to spawn a Zursa in, and you can spawn him in much earlier than round 16. As soon as you get the Gauntlet, you can go to the Cosmodrome with Tessie and shoot 3 skulls here with the Gauntlet to turn their eyes green. The first one is right here below the rocket, the second is down the right zipline here and it's on this pipe, and also I gotta say, this one is definitely the hardest of the 3 to hit. And finally, the third and final one is through this door, and it's outside of the map past the Mirage wall by. Once you shoot all 3 and turn their eyes green, then a free Zursa will spawn in and you can get him weak and kill him with Tessie to get the limbs part way before round 16. Astra Malorum. In the final phase of Calthera's boss fight, the purple rocks can be very deadly, but there are 2 counters to them. If you run the augment Environmentalist on PhD, then this augment allows you to just slide right through them to take minimal damage, and also a well-timed stim shot will allow you to just run right through them no problem. And finally, for the most recent map to release at the time of me recording this, Paradox Junction. There's a really simple Easter egg you can do to set up in the map faster. Before you first dog run, if you look at the clock above the greenhouse and shoot the hour hand and minute hand to set it to 115, then when you teleport to normal Nuketown, the game will give you a bunch of good loot. It'll give you a free perk, a free score streak, a free blue ether tool, a Pack-a-Punch drop, and even a gold rarity weapon. And since you can do this as early as round 6 or round 7, you can use this to get a pretty big head start in your game. And there was one useful tip for every single map in COD Zombies history. Like I said in the intro, if you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and also subscribe to help us get to 50,000 subscribers. Shout out to my members. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. I love each and every one of you. And a huge shout out to the new members, Alan Hampton, Jackson Peep, Darth, and Defix. Thank you all so much for becoming members. I really appreciate it. If you want another video just like this, then click this video on the screen right now for part 1. And with that being said, I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.